The 365 Pro Wrestling.
365 Nation, this is episode number 45. It is February 14th. That means it's Valentine's Day. I'm wishing everyone out there a happy Valentine's, whether you're single, whether you got a partner, whether you got partners. All the best to each and every one of you guys. I hope you're having a great day. Hope you had a great night. And the big thing about Valentine's Day is it is a relationship. And you know what? In pro wrestling, we have many relationships. It's all about relationships. It's relationships with the hall, our fans, co-workers, all this stuff. And you know what? I got a great relationship with the man on the line tonight. Too magnificent. Nicky Martin. How you doing, man?
I'm feeling the love, Eddie.
Oh, man. So you had a good night?
Valentine's Day. It's perfect.
There you go, man. So this week, how's it been for you? Did you catch any wrestling? Did you watch Raw? Did you watch AEW? Did you see Smackdown?
I watched Raw religiously. I watched Smackdown this evening, and I caught a little bit of AEW. And you know what? I don't know if you know, but I'm a big fan of one Mr. James E. Cornette, and he actually inspired me to take notes when AEW comes on. So I've been doing that the last few weeks, and it's rather enjoyable.
Nice. So what do you take your notes on? Like, are you just looking at the action? Are you looking at the wrestlers? Crowd response?
A little bit of all of that. I took a note on his podcast there that AEW seems to have their own kind of crowd, their own kind of universe, if you will. I don't know if they call it that in AEW though, but he always says, that fan base is going to like what they like. And there's stuff that I like about AEW, and then there's stuff that just drives me insane.
You know what? I think that's everything in life, though. There's stuff that you really enjoy in life. There's stuff you hate. There's stuff you love about work. There's stuff you hate. So that's the same thing with wrestling. There's a whole bunch of different flavors. You like this one and that one, but maybe not that one. But if they give you enough that you like, you're going to keep tuning in.
True. Very true. And you know what? I think for me, the AEW... for me is basically just the stars, like who they have, like, because you never know who's going to pop out. Like they had DDP coming out, they've had people that I really haven't seen a lot of, some of the newer guys. MJF is absolutely phenomenal. We had a bit of a conversation there last night, or a couple nights ago maybe, about MJF, and so that's kind of AEW's silver lining, but I've always been a WWE guy, to be honest.
Nice. I guess we all were, though. We grew up on it, right? I know you were AWA, and then you moved on, but what about SmackDown and Raw this week? What do you like about them? What do you not like about them?
For me, I think for SmackDown this week, having Morrison back is really kind of cool. For me, I was always a big fan of Miz and Morrison, and then even prior to that, Johnny Nitro and I can't even remember the name of his partner now, Eminem, with Melina. So it's kind of nice having him back. I love what's going on with The Fiend right now. I don't know if I'm really kind of a fan of what's going on with Goldberg, but it's kind of piqued my interest to see what's going to happen in Saudi, to see, what they're going to do with him, whether Goldberg's going to play a bigger role, or if it's just kind of a way to get The Fiend more over. I don't really know how you can get The Fiend more over, to be honest.
Goldberg definitely been one of those ways, though. And his partner was Joey Mercury, who now was a backstage guy. So he's been around wrestling forever and still is.
Thank you. Yes, and he was also the security for the Monday Night Messiah.
Nice.
And,
so,
go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so this week's SmackDown, it was from our eras. It was in Vancouver. I know a lot of my friends were there. A lot of wrestling fans were there. Was the crowd really lively being back in Canada?
It sounded that way, yeah. I mean, and I think they really played off of it. They had talked about the Sedines, actually. Corbin, or I think it was Corbin that brought them up, that their jerseys got retired in the rafters there, and he got some pretty good heat off of what he had to say. But aside from that, Elias got a really good pop with regards to his song. They had a protest concert in Vancouver tonight via Sami Zayn and Cesaro, so that was cool.
Nice. Yeah, and it's funny because they do that whole rep on the home team, hockey team or baseball team, even on the independents. So to see that they still do that in the WWE, it's kind of fun to me.
I enjoy it. I think the 2 hours is just kind of perfect, right? Because when it gets kind of all said and done, I'm still ready to, watch more, or I can turn on something else. But I love Raw, but Raw is just kind of is a little bit too long. I think they could kind of trim it down a little.
Now that we're older and we're not kids, we have some responsibilities. 3 hours at that time of night is tough.
Not to mention, I mean, some of the segments are a little bit kind of on the hokey side. I mean, they've got their gold stuff, and then they've got stuff that could probably be done without. I'm not a huge fan of someone else that showed up tonight. One Mr. Shorty Gee. I think I've made at least one or two mentions when we've been talking about Shorty Gee, but he's just not my favorite. I mean, I don't know what it was. He was annoying when he was in a tag team. He's more annoying now. Sheamus completely destroyed him today, along with Apollo Crews. So I got a little bit of enjoyment out of that.
He's a really talented wrestler, though.
Oh, I won't take anything away from his talent. I mean, as far as him as a person, he's probably a great guy. I'm not going to say he's not talented. It's just, I think the style of maybe his wrestling or his character in general, because I don't really get the gimmick, is kind of what turns me off as far as he comes around. I've always been a big fan of the heels. I've always been a big fan of the smartasses. So you've got Kevin Owens, Rick Rude, Mr. Perfect, Nick Bockwinkel. The last three you'll notice are all from AWA. But no, I mean, he's just not my cup of tea, I guess, as far as Gable goes. Now,
are you a whiskey guy or a beer guy?
I'm a whatever's cold guy, brother.
I kind of knew that. And what is your favorite beer? Because you always give me hell because I just drink domestic.
Well, I mean, you like what you like, but I mean, I like trying different things. If it's, I'm a big connoisseur of dark beers, so I like the Nitro Stouts. I like the Imperial Stout. Rickard's Dark is pretty good. You got some ales there. You got your nut browns, that kind of stuff. Even the honey beers are pretty good. But if it's dark, chances are I'm drinking it.
Yeah. Well, let's circle back. You said Corbin mentioned the Sedines, and that was a huge ceremony on Wednesday for me. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was really well done. Mm-hmm. And that's my team, the Canucks, and your team, one of the rivals with Sid the Kid, Malkin, and so many more great talents are the Penguins. So every time they have a game against each other, we usually chirp each other pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the most enjoyable things. I love being able to just, and a lot of my buddies are like that. I mean, when the Canucks are in town, it's you and me. When it's, the Leafs are in town, it's me and Gordon. And that's what makes hockey fun. You've got people that like certain teams and don't like certain teams, and I've got people that make fun of Sid all the time, or make fun of Malkin, or try to get my goat. And I'll be honest, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And then I'm no stranger to gloating when my team does well. Like tonight, for example, they won 4-1. The new guy, that what's his name, Jonathan Zucker, or I think his name's Jonathan. Yeah. He scored 2 goals tonight, so I think he's going to be a pretty good addition to the team.
Nice. He played on the West Coast with Minnesota. Not West Coast, but in the West with Minnesota. So I got to see a couple of his games against the Canucks. But one of your big trips a couple years ago was to a Penguins game, was it not?
I did, yeah. We went down 2017. We spent New Year's down there. We spent 3 days, and we watched the Canadians lose to my Penguins in my house, which was really kind of cool. The fans down there, really surprising. They were really, really accommodating. You walk through the doors and you walk through the city and everybody's talking to you. And that struck me as kind of different, because if you walk through, say, Brantford or Hamilton or Toronto, Kitchener, if you say hello to somebody, they kind of look at you like you're nuts. Unless you know somebody. But if you just go up and talk to a random person, they just, I guess they get their back up a little bit. But, they kind of had the Southern hospitality down there. And, same thing when I went to Arizona. Like, you'd be just walking down the street, and they'd be like, "Hey, how y'all doing?" and blah, blah. And I'm just like, whoa, this is different. But, it's kind of a different culture, I guess.
So maybe it's just Ontario that stuck up, because Canada's great. We're nice people.
Canada is great. I mean, it has you and me. Like, how can it not be great?
Indeed. But thank you again for joining me tonight. I'm going to close out this quick conversation we're having. We're talking SmackDown, Raw, beer, your AEW guys, a little bit of Valentine's Day, and we can't forget MCW. What's happening with MCW? What are the plans? I know you wanted to make... I'll let you talk about it, but you want to do some new presentation value.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking into some different things, looking into a different venue, looking in on, possibly making things a little bit bigger, not so much, in maybe like how the show is done, but maybe just the overall presentation, making some changes to, how we do things, how we structure the show. We've got a show coming up. Right now, it's tentatively in April. Like I said, we're trying to look for a bigger venue. I know with the Dunstan Legion there in Brantford, we've kind of gotten to the point where it's a little bit too small. We've outgrown that, and that's a good problem to have. And the Legion staff has come at us with some fire marshal stuff and a couple of different things where they're telling us, try and scale it down a little bit. And I don't feel after 10 years that we're in a position where we want to be scaling down. We want to, move up and see what else we can do, and maybe look into some bigger talent, maybe look into some better matches, and with better matches you need maybe a higher ceiling. So we've found a nicer venue that we're in talks with, but I don't want to put or spill the beans, so to speak, because it's not fully set up yet. It's not fully agreed on yet. I don't really know what's going on as far as the newer venue, or when it's going to become a thing, but talks are in the works and things are going well, so hopefully I'll have a better update on that as far as that goes. As far as an actual show date, tentatively April 25th, and I'll definitely update if things get changed as far as the venue, because if we change the venue, then the date will probably change as well.
For sure. And it is pretty cool that you guys have sold that venue out the last, 4 or 5 times now, and the Legion's just like, it's too many, because you keep cramming more and more and more in there, and now they're like, hard no, we can only have this. So it's forcing your hand to either be happy with what you got or grow, and it's cool that you want to keep growing.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot to be said for being happy, but I like the bigger crowds. I like the, having that energy when you walk out there. Last Immortal, I just, you couldn't believe it. The energy when we came out, over the first segment there, was just out of this world. And like you said, the Legion is kind of pushing our hand a little bit. And I get it. You know, they don't want to have any issues as far as like the fire marshal or anything. They don't want any of our shows to be, you know, shut down prematurely. And we don't want that either. So as far as, you know, if we have to move, hey, we're in the process of looking around and hopefully going to try and get some sponsors as well.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, and I'm sure we'll talk again very, very soon.
Absolutely, brother. I'll probably, hopefully see you soon, too. I'm looking forward to the 29th. And when are you down next?
I'll be down for the March 20th and 21st event.
Perfect. March 20th and 21st. And be sure to be in Kitchener on February 29th. Leap year 365 becomes, I guess, 366 for this year.